What up guys, today we're covering 50 updates Mojang scrapped from Minecraft. These are a series of updates that developers either coded, worked on, showcased or mentioned, but were ultimately given the boot. Shout out to Wazd. First up is battle music. Soundtrack designer C418 originally had in mind the idea of battle music playing anytime you would engage with mobs. Ultimately, it never made it. Number 2 is an integrated video recorder and editor from Minecraft. Lead developer Jeb was working on an in-game video recording system. It looked a lot like what today's replay mod looks like, and he made a showcase video of it back in 2012. So you can actually click the link in the description below to see it. Number 3 is vertical redstone. Redstone was at one point planned to be placeable vertically. Imagine if that's how we had redstone working today. Ooh, think of the contraptions. Number 4 is the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon is now well known as this was one of Notch's original desires to add into the game, and ultimately it was going to act quite differently from the typical Ender Dragon, but never made it. Friends lists were a feature that Notch was working on a long time ago, and for unknown reasons it was scrapped and forgotten. Although Bedrock has this feature somewhat in-game, it never came to the Java version. Friends online, none. Offline, none. You have no friends. Oh. Spike blocks were a planned block used for dealing damage to mobs, and although they never made it in-game, magma blocks seem to fill a similar feature. Look at that, man, dangerous. Quite painful to step on. Colored lighting. Former Minecraft developer Ryan Holtz was working on colored lighting, and while he did, while he did make significant progress, it ended up never being implemented into game. Imagine if fires gave off a lovely toasty orange glow. Maybe one day. There was a plan for us to originally be able to steal from villagers. Suggested by a then developer, the idea would be that stealing from these villagers would make them angry. Opening this chest, did you hear that? Oh, he mad? Looks mad. Naturally fallen trees. This is actually a feature in Minecraft Bedrock, however, it never ended up making its way into the Java version of the game. They make a nice extra detail for forest biomes. Seeing collapsed logs would be a lovely touch for Java. There was a planned feature for you to be able to break flower pots using various different arrows. However, it ended up never coming out for one reason or another. We'll never know. So sad. At one point, better clouds were planned for the game with lots of different options. Here are some concepts as to what they could have looked like. Imagine having a cloud where underneath you can't see anything, but the moment you were above it, it goes completely transparent. Hopefully there's more updates to clouds in the near future depending on graphics settings. Maybe they avoid mountains instead of, going right through them. There was a time where harvesting crops without removing the plant was considered. Imagine just being able to right click with your hoe to not need to replant all of the seeds found there within. Talk about convenient. Anything to make hoes more useful. There were plans for air in game to be renamed to empty as a block type. Minecraft currently has 3 different types of air, however they were planning on replacing them all with a new block called empty. There's cave air, there's void air, and then there's just air. As you can see, we're checking for air. Ooh, detected. Now, it's hard to show you these other ones being detected because, air is invisible. This was scrapped as it would remove a seriously useful developer tool if implemented. Custom brewing recipes were planned. That's right, crafting recipes can be made using data packs and JSON files, and same for furnaces these days, so why not brewing stands? We could make things like the socially awkward potion. I don't recommend drinking this. Maybe someday. The modify item command was a planned command that would work, such as the enchant and data modify would, but it ended up not ever coming out. This is more for all you command block people out there. Ugh, wish it was added. For example, imagine typing in this command to instantly add the ability to deal 5 more damage with whatever item you were using, or removing the flame enchantment instantly, or etc, words you guys don't understand. But please add this in. A clunking sound for pistons never made it into the game, even though it was originally planned at some point. Imagine hearing this when you didn't have a piston that was doing its job. Smoke particles come out. Contrast that with how pistons normally work when nothing is obstructing their piston's path. Yeah, this would be a lot better for finding errors in your redstone. Updated water physics eventually made their way into Minecraft 1.13. However, they ended up not being exactly the same as what was shown. For example, this is not an example of anything you could actually see in-game currently, but imagine if it was. The immersion. The water immersion. How about adding bow enchantments to dispensers? It was planned for dispensers to be able to take on enchantments used from the bow to use on the dispenser. Here's what it would have looked like with the flame enchantment. Crafted as such, you would use a bow with whatever enchantment you wanted and use it to make a flame dispenser. Now this has just got some plain arrows in it, but when fired off, As you can see here, they are lit, baby. Oh, this would be so useful. There was a lot of height-based content that was supposed to be coming to Minecraft. However, they ended up never really being realized. To the Sky Islands we go. Wow. Wow, I can see my house from here. Betsy, gotta go visit. Say hi to Mom for me. There were originally some health and armor visualizers planned for the game. This would be a way to see how much health players and mobs had at a moment's notice. It'd be useful, but we would need a way to disable it to avoid cutting clutter. Right now, we have an example of it being displayed when we press tab. You can see our active hearts at a moment's notice, or you can have them display in number form instead. There was originally a plan for spectators to be able to see player inventories. We've got this totally real player right here, and if you were in spectator mode, you'd be able to, at a moment's notice, have a peek at what this player had on him. And oh my gosh, you are loaded, dude. How about sheep showing their wool color when shorn? Is that a word? The sheer usefulness of this would have been fantastic. Sheep don't look like this when they're shorn, but hey, we can dream. Probably best not to dream about sheep. I don't want to fall asleep. Anyways, number 23, killer rabbits. Killing mobs for a special drop. One of the devs wanted to have killer rabbits kill mobs for a special drop. However, they got removed from game, so the concept did as well. The only problem is that the killer rabbits don't attack mobs. But if they did, boy, would it be great. Not me. Get the killer. Let's try this again. Killer rabbit, bait. Yo, get it. What? Why? Well, I guess that's kind of the point. Seasons were originally planned for the game. Summer, fall, winter, spring. Imagine just seeing snow appear during random parts of your Let's Play. It would be nice. It would be ice. Yeah. We've reached the halfway point as we decide to try and use the space above the Nether as one of the planned updates. Now, currently the overworld is 256 blocks high. However, the Nether ceiling was set when the world was only 128 blocks tall, and as such, it remained the same. But imagine if that wasn't the case. Right now, there's not much going on here, but one could imagine what could have been here instead. One thing that was planned was the ability to customize chat colors without the use of commands, so that you could have specialized text that is numerous different colors, instead of having to choose only one of them by dyeing a certain sign. Now you can with Telrob, but that's not too server friendly. Here's an example of that. Color text is awesome. We need this, please. Resource packs having the ability to change tile entity models. Chests are hard-coded models. You can't really modify what they look like. Most blocks can have custom models with resource packs, but not chests. We'd show you what this looks like, but it never came out. Blocking by sneaking or walking backwards. Jeb was working on this in the latest change to the planned combat update, and it might still get added, but for now, walking backwards and sneaking doesn't allow you to block at all. You still need a shield to do that. Speaking of shields being disabled when used too frequently was another planned update that seems to have been scrapped as well. Now, shields can block incoming attacks. Taking an extra hit from an axe will disable the shield for a short period of time. But devs were planning on making this occur regardless. See, now we can't use the shield anymore. Imagine if you just held it up too much and that's what prevented you from being able to use it. There were plans for special unenchantable tools to be able to be found. The idea of this was to feature special tools and weapons that could be found with unique stats that were unenchantable but had other useful traits. For example, the Sword of Souls, which would give you 10 extra health when worn. Look at that. Y'all see those hearts down there? Lovely. How about the Ancient Pickaxe with 1000% luck, or Bow of the Wind, which provides you with a speed boost? Trying to add extra enchantments to this thing or combine existing enchantments with various other options here would prove to be too expensive and undoable. One scrapped update was a recipe book for the brewing stand. Now, these things are typically pretty hard to remember. For example, Tyler messed up a brewing recipe in a hey, don't tell them that. But the idea here is it would be very useful if we had some sort of inventory option in play that would let you know what ingredients you need to throw into a different potion in order to make it, so that I don't embarrass myself. Biome colors controlled by resource packs. Now, currently biome color is mostly controlled in the code, but a way to do this with the JSON files of the resource pack was being worked on. However, it has not yet made it into game. It could look very much something like this, where you're changing the actual color of the leaves, the foliage, etc., depending on whatever parameters you put into play. Animated recipe book buttons. Now, the button to open the recipe book was coded to be animated, but it was never fully implemented. So imagine you had your special recipe book, and the moment you opened it, that book ended up opening up in your inventory. There was once an Endermite dimension in the works. It would have added in a ton of extra lore to Enderman as well as Ender Pearls. It never ended up coming out, but hey, it would have been sweet if we could have seen it. Hey, get away. Yeah, I would love this. Just an extra end dimension that explains where these nasty guys came from. Oh boy, press the button! 35's the ultimate plan. Now, the ultimate plan was to have endermites infest the dragon egg for something special to happen. Now, this got scrapped as far as we know, but hey, ultimate cow? Really? That's what the endermite would have turned the egg into? I'm glad they never added it in. One plan was for NBT Crafting with custom recipes. Currently with the data pack, you can add in custom recipes. However, the output must be a vanilla item. It cannot have any data. This needs changing. As of right now, it's useless, but we've got our own crafter to get around these issues, which you've seen us do in some of our comments to crafting videos. I have data. Data! That's for the coders out there. Improved rendering of custom models was something that should have been implemented a long time ago. Now, rendering improvements are always great, but ones for map makers are particularly nice. Many bugs that exist now could have been fixed, but it never came out, which is why there's just a bunch of grass right here. How about the ability to exclude biomes in your world settings? It could be a really nice feature for when you don't want to have endless oceans everywhere. It's currently not added. It's quite unfortunate. 39 here is adding custom structures to world generation. This currently has to be done with custom code. However, this feature is currently in the works by the look of it, but it has been mentioned in the past numerous times and ultimately has yet to come out. Imagine being able to add in decorative structures to your cave systems, to the overworld, to wherever you want. I'd probably do a little bit more with it than just iron, but hey, I'm not good at anything. Number 40 is subscribing to the Logdotzip channel for more awesome wait, huh? What did it say? Oh, add edit layers for Superflat. Well, you should subscribe anyways. Currently to edit a Superflat world, you need to use a strange text system to add or remove layers. They were planning on adding a edit button to make this look a little bit more appealing. Here's an example of what it could have looked like. Instead of going back to that crazy line of text, I'm sure y'all have seen it before, it may look a little bit something like this instead. We're down to the final 10. Hoo-wee. Excited about this one. 41 here is linking minecarts. A feature that had been worked on in the past was the ability to link them together. They already sort of can due to a glitch, but this would make for a seriously great feature if it were actually implemented properly. Right now, they kind of push on each other and, not much else is really happening here. So, please, if anyone is watching at Mojang, if y'all could just add some nice links, maybe the iron chains that just came out in the recent Nether update would be a good candidate. Just get the gears spinning. Starts to make sense to me. 42 is phasing out furnace minecarts. Speaking of minecarts, they've been slated for removal for a long time, but have yet to be removed. They aren't really useful for anything much. I mean, you can add coal to them, and that'll get them to move in a singular direction. They were originally used to move other minecarts, but they ended up proving not worth the value associated with making them, maintaining them, etc., etc. Right now, they're a bit of an anomaly of some ancient code that has yet to be removed. Kind of cute, though. Chugga chugga choo choo, baby. Dog! Yeah. Parent rabbits influencing the child rabbit's colors. Sheep, pandas, mushrooms, and cats all inherit their type of color from one of the parents. However, rabbits, they don't do this for some reason. So as you can see here, we've got rabbits. Okay, we've got another rabbit. And look, the fact of the matter is, both these rabbits, nice and brown. Now, while the other rabbit that came out may end up that very same color, in all likelihood, there's a chance that that doesn't happen at all. So why don't we see if we can get our hands on it? Okay, well, it's proving me wrong right now, but the idea here is that every once in a while, you'll get a rabbit that has nothing to do with the... Okay, it's embarrassing. Black rabbits, what's it gonna be, baby? Okay, maybe they did add it. I guess that one got updated. Get away from me! I got no more carrots! You've just embarrassed me again. New enchantment-like system for weaponry behavior. The idea behind this new system, kind of like enchanting, except that it would modify the attributes of behavior and weapons. Perhaps you could apply a speed potion to a sword, or add a torch to a helmet to give it some sort of light. For now, just imagine with me. Throw this on the ground, douse it with this potion. It doesn't work because we didn't add it in, but hey, imagine having a potion-covered sword that, when held, would give you speed boost. You really gotta use your imagination for this one. Underground biomes were planned. We've all been wanting a cave update. At one point, devs were working on cave biomes, but this never ended up making it into the game. Here's an example of one of those now. The nice ice cave. Ooh, wow, this place is cool. Yep. Alright. An old version pack loader for old textures. Textures used to be saved on a single texture sheet. Old packs that use the system don't work anymore. A while back, they proposed to let these load, but they never ended up adding it in. Some of you may be familiar with this original image sheet. This is how you would modify any existing textures in-game. They're all now based on individual textures, presumably because it makes it easier to add or change new texture packs. Improved camera controls were a planned feature that never ended up coming out. They were in the works many years ago, and it was added to the specific player. You'd get things like free roam, tilting the camera, things of that nature. As you can see on screen here, we had a little bit of an example of that pop up in our 10 special types of Minecraft players, or 10, whatever I named it. But you can see it on screen right now, and you should check out that video if you haven't already. Remembering learned recipes across worlds. Could be nice to not need to relearn every recipe. Now, I would assume it wasn't added for multiple reasons, such as maps using learned recipes for various other things, but the idea here is now with the current crafting system using this special little book feature, you now have to learn recipes before you can, in theory, make them. Well, if the map maker has at least encouraged that restriction. We'll move on, though, to number 49, the hug animation. There's an idea Dinnermode had which seems to have been forgotten. The Bedrock Edition did just come out with emotes, which you can also see on screen right here, and there are a plethora of different emotes for you to choose from. Now, currently, this is not available in the Java version of the game. Now, if you want to learn more about emotes, you can actually check out that video that we just showed you a preview of on the Logdotzip Pocket Edition channel, featuring my friend Alex the Noob. Finally, Illusioners! We visited this guy once in the past. There's a mini boss mob that was mostly completed with multiple different attacks and behaviors, but it still hasn't been added in-game for one reason or another. Whether it's the ability to split into numerous Illusioners that all give you a really bad time of day, or the ability to range at you from— please don't— well, I can see why they weren't added. They suck. Let us know which of these 50 forgotten features you wished weren't forgotten or scrapped in the comment section below, and maybe the Mojang developers will read some of them and add them in. We'll see you later.